What's up, people? I am back for another video. This is gonna be my first Christmas themed video, and then next week we're doing Black Christmas, and then Monday I'm doing a movie called Contract Killer, which is gonna probably be my last Jet Li movie until probably I do the Expendables ones. But yeah, but this movie we are reviewing Silent Night, Deadly Night. I remember watching this for the first time a couple years ago. I had seen like a lot of people may not know this one, but they'll know a line from the second one. You know, the Garbage Day line. That film is like a really notoriously bad film, but the first one is actually really good. I think there is some goofiness. It's 80s horror, so there's gonna always be some you know goofiness. Like the moments when Billy's like punish, it's very cheesy. It probably sounded creepy at the time, but watching it now, it's kind of hokey. Every time he says punish before he kills somebody, but there are some solid, really like grindhouse level kills in this movie. Like and basically the basic premise is Billy, um, you know, pretty much the first scene literally is his grandfather telling him that Saint Nick will punish people who do bad, punishes kids who do bad. Then we see a guy in a Santa suit rob a liquor store, murder his parents, and then basically that it just deteriorates. We see him in like an orphanage, and then that makes him go worse. And then he seemingly seems normal, and then Christmas Day, he is forced to work at a store to become a store Santa. Then eventually goes crazy and starts killing people. So it's an all around decent film. This film got I remember hearing about like this film got it not in trouble, but a lot of people did not like the whole. They took it out of theaters because this came out like about the same time as Nightmare on Elm Street, and a lot of people just didn't like the whole concept of a killer Santa. I think the reason Black Christmas worked because Black Christmas wasn't a killer in a Santa suit. Just at that time, it was not usual to see Santa murdering people, and not just murdering people. There's a scene where, like I said, another guy attempts to rape a woman, Billy's mom. So like people are just not used to seeing that. So, but it got negative reviews. It got taken out of theaters super early. It's crazy because the film itself is just really simple. It's a fun one. It's not. I think the actor who plays Billy, the adult Billy, does a really good job of portraying a crazy guy. So, like I said, some solid kills. A lot of the versions you're gonna watch, like the the um the quality is decent, but the moment the kills happen, it kind of switches to this like 70s esque grind, and I actually think it works. It actually works for the effect, and I'll get to it more. But all around, this is a solid film. You know, you have some solid 80s music. It's a straight up decent 80s horror. So, um, but I definitely recommend it. Don't watch the sequels. I know there's a bunch of other sequels out there, but honestly, just watch the first one and then just kind of be done. Maybe watch the garbage day scene from the second one, but don't watch it all the way through. But other than that, I think this is one of the better Christmas horror movies. It's not the best. The best Christmas horror movie is Black Christmas, which I will review next week. But this movie is a pretty decent one. So, so the movie opens up with we meet young Billy and his mom and his baby brother Richard. More on that later. Go visit their grandfather at like a mental hospital. And while his parents are out in the room, his grandfather tells them basically to fear Christmas and that Christmas Eve is the scariest time of year. So now this film opens up in the 70s. So this is the 70s now. um, his grandfather tells him that Santa may give gifts to the good kids, but he also punishes the bad kids, and that you need to run away. So basically, this is where the start of Billy's fear of Santa comes from. So then his parents come in, they get Billy. They're driving down while this is happening. A guy in a Santa suit robs a liquor store, ends up shooting the clerk to death, and then yeah, this is a pretty dark opening. I mean, it gets going pretty quick. I think another thing about this film, it is paced perfectly. It's not long. It's only an hour and a half, and it goes pretty quick. So while the parents are driving down the street, they see the guy in the Santa costume, the same one. Billy, obviously the smart one. Yeah, don't stop. This is just some rant. We don't know. I mean, even in my mind, I'm like, you don't know this motherfucker. This is just some dude. I wouldn't stop. So they stop, and Santa ends up shooting. The father tries to drive away, but the father gets shot. So Santa was a good shot. Billy runs out of the car. Santa grabs the mom, basically rips her shirt off, attempts to rape her. She, I think hits him, and then he just slits her throat. Pretty dark. Like I said, man, a pretty dark fucking beginning. He calls out the kid, and he's like, "Where are you, you little bastard?" Like, the way it just escalates. Like, this guy was just initially a petty thief. Like, he was initially just a robber. I'm not saying that's any better, but then he escalates to 3 murders now, and then 1 attempted rape. So, and then, then the Santa walks away, so doesn't even end up killing the baby. I thought he was going to kill the baby for a second when I first watched this movie. Just because how dark that beginning was, man. So that's a pretty dark origin. And I'm going to say it, the kills are probably some of my favorite kills in movies. There are some solid kills in this film. There's one kill, which I will get to, that I'm like, okay, no. But anyway. Then it cuts 3 years later to December 1974. Billy and his little brother are now in an orphanage that's ran by nuns. And you could see from the jump, Billy, obviously Christmas is affecting him. There's a scene, it's one of the first scenes. One of the nuns is bring your, drawings to the front of the class. And Billy's drawing was Santa and the reindeer basically being killed. And it's I'm not saying I understand it, but it's you get his fear of Santa. A guy in a Santa suit murdered his parents in front of him. He watched his mom get his throat cut. And then we get Mother Superior, who in my opinion, I wanted this bitch to die the whole time. She is such a piece of shit character. She's one of the main nuns that I guess, to an extent, her character is important because she does set the tone of the whole punish thing. So she's like, no, we're doing things my way. Because even there's another nun that clearly gets no, this is Billy still affected by what happened to his parents. And then then Mother Superior's like, no, we're not listening to that. We're gonna go with what I want to do. So throughout the film, you see basically, I'm gonna call it abuse. She abuses Billy the whole time. So she locks Billy in his room till basically she tells him to. Then the other nun lets him go outside, and then while he's about to go outside, he overhears. I guess it's one of the other nuns or students having sex. So, which I will say this: there's a lot of titty in this movie. There's a lot of titty in this movie. So, if you want just that, just watch it for that. Then Mother Superior finds him, pushes Billy aside, and then whips whips the people having sex, and then she basically instills into Billy that sex is naughty, and that you'll be punished. So that's kind of where this all comes from. Then, because he got out of the room, she beats him again. Then Billy has a nightmare one night about what happened to his parents, and then what does this bitch do? She fucking ties him up to the bed. It's what the fuck? Oh my god. Wait till I get to the ending, man, because my god. I ain't gonna lie. Part of me, I'm like, I wanted this bitch to die the whole time. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted this, like, the fuck? You're gonna tie him up? Because, like, this kid, just get over it. Okay, this kid just doesn't like Christmas. Christmas is just, there's some times of the year in some people's lives, because maybe something bad happened to them. Just get over it. They don't like that time of year. Anyway, so that happens, and then Billy obviously acts like he's all good now. It's Christmas Day, and then fucking Mother Superior tries to force Billy to sit on Santa's lap. It's like, what, bitch? Get over it. Get over it. He doesn't like Santa. And I recognized the lady who played Mother Superior. She was in Predator 2. She was the lady that was in the morgue where when Danny Glover's character was trying to get information on the Predator. So that's when, like, I recognized this lady. And to be fair, I thought she did a good job of playing a character you didn't like. Like, she did a good job playing a hateable character. Um, so she tries to force Billy to sit on Santa's lap. He literally punches the fuck out of Santa. Like, Santa, like, goes down. I'm like, it is a little comical, like, this little kid punching out this old grown-ass man, but anyway. He locks himself in his room, and then you can hear kind of like Mother Superior coming in there. And then it kind of jumps 10 years. Now we're in 1984, which is when the film came out. Billy's now 18. One of the nun that actually clearly actually gives a shit about Billy is trying to get Billy a job at this toy store. The guy initially is reluctant, and I recognize him somewhat. He's often like either an asshole or like kind of like an owner of some kind in a movie. So she shows him Billy, and Billy looks normal. He actually looks like a normal guy from the jump. So grown up Billy looks normal, and I actually think he does a good job of playing crazy. Like, well, because he also does a good job of seeming normal. Because then we get this like '80s montage. You got this super '80s song playing of Billy just doing his work, and it's kind of cool. Like the toy store. This scene was fun because there are a lot of like, you know, if you're someone who grew up at the time, they have like a Return of the Jedi toys. They have like a bunch of nostalgia if you grew up at the time, and it's just a fun scene all around. It's like a juxtaposition. They did this. I think I've seen people who review this movie like, why is this here? Why this feels like a total tone shift. It's there because they want to make it seem, because even like one of the nurse lady, not the nurse, the other nun mentions Billy's fine all year just until Christmas. So they kind of like are trying to show you that like Billy is fine because he was doing his job normally. He was even starting to gain a crush on one of his employees. He's seeing normal. And then Christmas comes around, like the boss shows him like this Christmas sign which has Santa, and you could tell Billy's like, what the fuck? And then he gets into an argument with one of his the guy who works over him. And then there's a scene where Billy goes out and sees a store Santa and like trips over, like some display. So like you could tell he has a visceral reaction to Santa. Then there's a scene where he fantasizes about like the girl, in him and her having sex, and then Santa kills him. So, and the scene where he's like in the corner like rocking and saying stuff, I actually think that was really eerie. Like I think overall the music is good. Like it sets the tone. Like I said yesterday, a lot of '80s slashers, even like not name IPs, did a good job of like the music, especially in the '80s. Like the music in this was pretty good. Yeah, is it somewhat derivative? It's not obviously super original, but it's still it does a good job of setting the mood. Then we kind of cut over. I think it's Christmas Eve, and then due to a guy who was their store Santa, I think broke his leg or something, they had to get a replacement. So Mr. Sims decides to make Billy Santa, not knowing the backstory. And, obviously Billy just wanting to be a good worker is like, all right, I'll do it. and you see him in a Santa outfit, but you can look in his eyes. It's like once he put the Santa outfit on, that's I mean, yeah, he kind of started to deteriorate before that, but definitely after that. Then there's the one guy called who he works in the who Billy works with in the back call tells the nun that Billy is in a Santa outfit, which you can look on her face is like she kind of is the Dr. Loomis in a way of this movie. Like she knows what Billy is and she knows what you know what they shouldn't do. So I think that she works, even though she's more of a background character. So the next day comes. There's a scene where Billy is like Santa, and he's talking to this kid, and like I love how the moms are like, "Oh, he's so good with kids," but Billy's just like fucking being all creepy and shit. So fucking good. Then, everyone leaves. Um, then Mr. Sims throws a party for the employees. Everyone starts kind of getting drunk. Then Billy looks over and sees the girl he was kind of crushing on the whole time hook up with the guy, he was working with. He's kind of like the asshole. And he sees him go in the room. Then um, Billy and Mr. Sims have a quick scene, and then the girl, Billy follows them into the back room, and he hears the girl obviously not being into it, and she's like, "Stop, let's just go outside." And then the guy forces himself onto her, which triggers Billy's PTSD because his mom was almost raped. Same thing. Then you get a quick flashback of the moment, and then Billy like Avi eventually like goes crazy, and this scene is awesome. It's perfectly shot. It's obviously not intentional. There's something up with the copy, but it still works. Like the moment Billy like truly snaps, it has this like grainy kind of footage, and I actually think it works. It really sets the mood. Like it really works. So you see like Billy's eyes, like yeah, he's finally snapped. Then we get this kill, and this is the kill that I'm talking about, where I'm like, okay, no. He kills the guy. So the guy's name is Andy, so I didn't even remember his name. So he kills Andy with lights. He's hanging Andy with one arm. Michael fucking Myers. No, dude. Billy is not that fucking strong, dude. And it's like, come on. I don't know if maybe they just thought visually it would look cool, but it's like Michael, even in the original, you kind of get an idea there's something up with him. So you understand why he's ridiculously strong. And where with Billy just seems like a normal dude. So him doing this kill is just every time I watch him, like, why the fuck is he that strong? Like I know you kind of see muscles when you first see him, but like he's not that fucking strong, dude. Because Andy is like still a grown man. Like he is lifting him like straight up Michael Myers style. This would have been like, yeah, if this had been Halloween. I can see Michael Myers doing that. Or even a Jason Voorhees, not fucking this guy. So he kills Andy, and Pamela's like, "What the fuck? Are you crazy?" Even though it's like this nigga was trying to rape you. Sorry for the end pop. It just came out. Sorry, this motherfucker was trying to rape her. But okay, just okay. So Barry kills not Barry fucking um Billy kills her with the box cutter. Pretty brutal. Like he like literally like stabs her then cuts up. It's fucking brutal. So then Mr. Sims goes in the back and then he sees Billy with an axe and a hammer. Billy kills him, and then the other lady, um, and then the other lady, Mrs. Randall, finds Mr. Sims' body, which you don't actually see Billy kill him with the hammer, but you see the aftermath with the hammer in his head. Billy chases her, and I actually think this scene is really well done. It's dark in the store, like there's really no lights. There's Billy's like seeing what's the nice before Christmas, which it makes it even more creepy. Mrs. Randall seemingly has the jump on him. She grabs his axe and then basically tries to hit it open. For some fucking reason, this toy store has an arrow, has arrows, and Billy kills her with an arrow, like an arrow, like a straight up arrow that works. I get it. It was 1984, so it might have been a different time, but it's like, okay, whatever. It was still a good kill. So he kills her, and then it's the scene of Billy like unlocking the door and going outside is pretty creepy because it's like now he's out in the world. He's out in the world now. Then we see a scene of like some people doing like singing Christmas Carol. Then we get another titty shot. This girl, Tommy, and his girl hooking up with his girlfriend Denise, and her little sister Cindy is asking about Santa. You know, she kind of tells her to kind of hide. So basically, she just wants to have sex. So they're about to, but then she hears a noise. She goes to it. For some reason, she puts on her Daisy Dukes and just her Daisy Dukes, but she's still topless. Don't be wrong, I ain't complaining. It's just okay. Then she lets the cat in, and then Billy shows up. And this scene is a little cheesy because this is where Billy starts saying "punish" over and over again. But you understand, I get why they did that because Mother Superior was the reason, like that kind of instilled that in him that basically sex is naughty. So Billy kills Denise by impaling her on a deer head, which I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty brutal kill. Like he literally impales her on the deer horns, and then he kills Tommy by like he kicks him and then throws him through a window, which I guess part of the glass gets embedded in the side. Which I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty brutal kill. And then he Cindy sees him, and then Billy acts like Santa, and then asks her if he's been naughty or nice. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty creepy scene. Like, because it's like you saw what he did, and he's still holding the axe visibly. I'm like, little girl, do you not see? He just got okay. Even as a kid, I feel like I would have noticed. I'm like, why do you have an axe? Like, why do you have like a bladed weapon? But anyway, it's an '80s slasher. This is one of those things you kind of gotta turn your brain off for. So he gives her the box cutter he killed Pamela with, and then while this happens, the nun from earlier goes into the store and finds the bodies, tells the police, and the police put out a lookout for a guy in a Santa suit. Like there's one scene where the police see a guy climbing in a window, but it's a guy in a Santa suit, and it turns out the guy in the Santa suit is this girl's dad. So then we see Billy walking into the woods. Then we see these kids about to use their sled, um, and then we see some bullies pick on these kids and take their sleds. This scene it's just hilarious because the bullies literally look like grown ass like the bullies literally look like they could be those dudes' dads. Like it was that bad. I'm like, what the fuck? Why does the bull that one like the redhead bully? He literally looks like he could be that like their dad. It's like so bad. So one of them slides down, and then the other one's about to get on and ride down. Billy murders him by decapitating him, and I actually think this scene is well executed because like you just the guy seeing the guy sliding down, but he does not notice the head's missing until the last second, and then we see Billy pop in a frame, the axe dripping blood, and then you hear the guy screaming, obviously implying he killed him. Then the next morning we see um, the nun talk to the police, and the police they this is when the nun realizes, oh, he's gonna go for Mother Superior, and then the police chief heads down there with the nun while putting out a saying you know if you see a guy in a Santa costume, shoot him if you have to. Then um, the deaf pastor, Father O'Brien, shows up and in a Santa suit, and the one officer sees this, but he doesn't know. And then, because it turns out Father O'Brien's deaf, so he doesn't even hear. The guy shoots him, and it turns out it's not him. Obviously, it was gonna always be a fake out. Then he gets admonished by Mother Superior. The only scene where I'm like, okay, I agree with this bitch. Like, yeah, you kind of are doing the harm, bro. I get it. You're looking for a guy, a killer Santa, but you can't just be shooting people. So he checks the grounds. Billy kills him, and then Billy gets let in by a kid because the kid thinks he's Santa. And then Billy is about to kill Mother Superior when the other officer shows up and shoots Billy. The nun has like a kind of like a sad moment with him where she's like holding his hand, and then he tells the kids, "Oh, danger's gone, Santa's dead," we and then we see one of the kids say naughty, and that other kid is Richard, which is basically that's going to be the killer in the second one, which I'm not revealing. So, but I have a problem with this ending. Why couldn't they just let Billy kill her, then shoot him? Like, Mother Superior needed to get hers. That's my. I don't like it when in movies when a character like that who does fucked up shit never gets their comeuppance. Like, she never got hers. Like, never once did she get hers. Even when Billy died, she just kind of looks at him. Like, if you're gonna, like, okay, not kill her, maybe she should have been like, okay, maybe in death she apologizes to Billy and is like, I'm sorry for what I've done to you. Maybe if you should have did something like that if you're gonna fucking keep her alive. But no, she just kind of looks at him and then that's it. And it's like, no, this bitch should have died. Sorry. The shit she did to Billy, I don't know. I think, yeah, that kind of bothers me. But other than that, I think this movie is a really fun Christmas slasher. It sets the tone for Christmas. You got Christmas carols, but it's pretty creepy. Like, I actually think, like I said, the actor who plays Billy, adult Billy, does a really good job of, like, um, you know, playing, like, he seems normal and then he goes crazy. Like, that scene he finally snapped is well executed. Um, I I think my only gripes is, like, one of the kills, like I said, when he kills Andy, I'm like, he's not that fucking strong. But there was besides that, a lot of my favorite kill probably in the whole movie might be the antlers. That was pretty brutal. And it has like this grindhouse feel. Like a lot of like when the kills get filmed, it has this like 70s grittiness to it, which I really like. Um Mother Superior, I think the actress who played her does a good job of playing a hateable character, even though you want her to die the whole time, and it's sad she doesn't get hers in the end, but it is what it is. But I do like that one nun who actually gave a shit about Billy. Like at the end of the day, she always gave a shit about Billy. Even like, she understood why he drew that drawing. Like this kid is his mom and dad were murdered by Santa. It's like, yeah. But I like this film. It has a nice atmosphere to it. I definitely recommend if you're a slasher fan. I understand there is some scenes where I'm like maybe you didn't really need it, but it's paced perfectly. You have some solid kills besides the Andy kill in my opinion, but yeah. Um, if I were to give this out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8. It's a pretty good slasher. Like it does a good job. Billy's a believable slasher villain. You know, his backstory is pretty good. It's pretty dark. Like I said, that opening is pretty fucking dark with the grandpa, and then obviously the scene where his parents get killed. It's pretty fucking brutal. Like the mom especially, like because obviously she's about to get raped, and then fucking her throat gets slit. You don't see it, but you see like the aftermath. But yeah, it's like all around pretty brutal movie. Um, but yeah, if you're a slasher fan, I definitely recommend. Just watch the first one though, because I didn't even really think it needed a sequel. I get it that even in the first one they do tease like his brother could go crazy, but it's not needed. I think it's like you know, that ending where it could tease something, but it really isn't needed. You know, you had a killer Santa spree. There you go. I think it works that way. But yeah, I definitely enjoy it. So Monday, I'm gonna be doing the movie Contract Killer with Jet Li. So, and it's gonna be fun because it's gonna be probably my last of the main Jet Li movies, which is gonna be awesome. It's one of his older ones. So, but I definitely enjoy Silent Night, Deadly Night. So. What is usual? Fuck Warner Brothers. Fuck Disney. Fuck La Bitch James. Fuck Kevin Smith. Fuck Colin Kaepernick. Fuck Seth Rogen. And fuck Joe Biden. I'll talk to y'all Monday. Peace.